Lamar Jackson's favorite media member, Mike Florio, floated out the idea that the solution to Kansas City's offensive woes might be bringing back an old friend, Eric Bieniemy, if Washington and their new ownership cleans house. Quote, someone needs to push the Chiefs to be better than they are. Bieniemy might be the one the Chiefs need. If he becomes available after Week 18, the Chiefs should consider bringing him back in an effort to get things back to the way they've been. Greg, would this work?
I think it would work, but I think there are some things that they could address without even bringing Eric Bieniemy back. And for me, when you think about the Kansas City Chiefs, there are three things that I feel like they could fix, and they would be a much better team. The third is starting faster. Like, this is a team that has always been a start fast type of a team. They get up on you. They can play from behind. We all understand that they can play from behind, but this year it's just been brutal. They're only scoring 4 points in the first quarter. When you look at history for them, they're over 5. I mean, they're even higher if you go back years. But then the second for me is, what did I have down here? Improving in the run game. Like, everybody says, oh, you got to run the ball more. They don't run the ball. They do historically run the ball pretty well. Almost, if you look at their numbers, almost 5 yards a carry, which is really good. Last year, they were 8th in the National Football League. This year, they're almost at just 4, which is 14th, middle of the road. They just got to be more efficient on the ground, and it opens things up. And then lastly, I think this is the number one thing, is the turnovers.
It's the whole thing.
It's the turnovers. And for me, you got to be better with protecting the ball. That's Patrick Mahomes. That's the receivers fumbling. Any ball carrier that has the ball. The numbers are right there. They're very telling. But this all will eliminate what everybody's talking about, the issues. Oh, the Chiefs can't score points. Well, they would be able to score points if they didn't turn the ball over, if they started faster, and all these things weren't on a list.
So I agree with everything Greg just said. So listen, there are there's a few things you didn't mention that I think they could do, but to me, the turnovers are 85% of it. But the first thing is they need some speed on the field. They just don't have it right now. MVS is not providing. Nobody's scared of him right now.
Explosive plays.
And not even just to stretch the defense, is just to allow the intermediate stuff to be open. That's when Hardman coming back could have helped them, but then he immediately got hurt.
Does Mahomes want to throw the ball to MVS?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm saying MVS was supposed to be that field stretcher, but he hasn't been.
Okay.
And so Hardman coming back, it's one of the reasons they like, despite all the problems, having Kadarius Toney on the field, is because he threatens the defense and they have to respect it. I want Andy to take over everything offensively.
Yeah.
I want him it was a nice, work share agreement with Eric Bieniemy. He has the same one with Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy is not Eric Bieniemy, and I can't trust that Bieniemy, that Washington's going to get fired. They're going to fire the whole staff and bring him over. That's a lot of speculation from Florio. Patrick's got to be Patrick, which he was against the Patriots. He wasn't close to that in the game against the Raiders. But when I say it's the turnovers, I mean it's the turnovers, Brew. They don't lose if they don't lose the turnover battle. We can show you the season. When they've won or tied the turnover battle, they're 6-1. But keep in mind, the one loss, the turnover was a pick 6.
Yep.
So that's like a double turnover. Yep. You know what so I'm not saying, Brew, it is easily fixable. What I am saying is it is not your typical type of stalled out offense that can't move the ball. Because they are moving the ball, but then they are shooting themselves in the foot. So I do think it's simple in that regard.
And I would quickly add, like, we ad nauseum, and you as well, like, we talk about the drops and all these things. Like, this is a young team. You've said this several times from a positive perspective. This is a very young team. Mm-hmm. And I feel like them winning the Super Bowl with Sky Moore in his rookie year, and Kadarius Toney being young, like, it was like this sense of entitlement, like, oh, this is what we're going to do. We won early, and now all of a sudden we expected them to just take the next step. Well, defensively, the young unit, they did. But offensively, they have absolutely regressed.
I mean, everything you guys said was right. Remember, I said yesterday they run the ball more because Pacheco and Edwards-Helaire can run. I mean, I'm not saying they're great running backs, but they're good running backs. But to say it's simply the turnovers, yes. But that's like saying, at least, I get that they haven't done it historically. But to Giannis, just make your free throws. I mean, Mahomes is forcing stuff, and that's creating turnovers because he's got to. Because guys aren't really that open, or when they are open and they dropping some of them. Like, some of them are deflected. And so I think it's easier said than done to say that about the turnovers. I wanted to ask about Bieniemy because, I said a month or so ago, I think they miss his tough cop, approach, all right? And I am a believer in having a tough cop. But, Greg, can you hire a guy to be a tough cop for like 2 weeks? I just don't. Even though everybody, I think you have to just be a tough cop. Guys come in the building, this guy, that's who he is, but to hire a guy that walks in, all right, I'm going to get everything straight. I'm going to start, getting off on you guys.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
What I think you're about to say is what I agree with. Because he's already been there, he's not even a full year removed. He understands what's expected and what needs to happen. For me, I don't think you can have a guy in that building that all of a sudden flips the switch and says, right, "Oh, I'm the tough guy now." Yeah. No, nobody's going to buy that.
So we all get it. Catch the ball, it's thrown to you, catch it. I went back and watched all of Mahomes' interceptions because I was going to make a social media video of these aren't Mahomes' fault.
Instagram famous.
And trying to get Instagram famous. Yeah. Trying to get that Celsius.
Some of them are Mahomes' fault.
A lot of them were Mahomes' fault.
Yeah.
So other than telling the greatest quarterback to be better, do you want to do these two things? Because I pitch you two other things. One, the trick plays, one of the turnovers was, let's snap the ball to Pacheco and hand it off to Mahomes. Right. Now, if it works, you're the genius. When it doesn't work and it turns into a touchdown, it looks like a foolish play.
Yeah.
So you can either stop doing these trick plays or not go to Tony, who's coughing the ball up.
And this is why, and you guys a month ago, I think disagreed with me on that, but maybe you're coming around a bit. A big part of my solution for the Chiefs was Patrick Mahomes play like the best player alive.
But why isn't he?
Well, I think a lot of reasons. One is I think a low-key right now problem with the team is the two offensive tackles. Right? They had brought in Donovan Smith. They're now starting a third-round rookie. Mm-hmm. Jawan Taylor's the big offseason acquisition. After playing well early in the year, despite the penalties, is not playing well. I think Mahomes doesn't trust the receivers are going to be where he's going to be.
That is huge.
So he's not. It's almost the reverse of the Purdy stuff. Purdy's guys were so constantly open and so constantly where they were supposed to be that he was playing, in my opinion, better than he actually was because he had full-blown confidence every year was going to be where he is. Now you have Mahomes, who's almost skittish at, at times. But the Patriots game, and again, it's another thing that you guys thought I was overstating. I think the Patriots have an excellent defense.
We do.
And Mahomes, I know there were 2 picks in that game, but I thought Mahomes played an A-plus game.
Yep.
And I think that is going to the only solve for this team, if the defense allows more than 13 points, is going to be Mahomes play A-plus football. And if there's anyone in the league that can do it, I believe it's him. But he's got to string it together for a month. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.